Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're focusing in a little bit more in depth on the emotional manipulator, the narcissist, the psychopath, an individual who is character disordered, an individual who has a profound sense of superiority about themselves, self-importance, oftentimes to the detriment or degradation of others. The lack of empathy, the deficit of empathy, which causes them to exploit, take advantage of, and hurt others in order to keep and maintain their sense of self-importance. And for sake of this video, we're focusing in on one of the control and power tactics which these individuals tend to employ, which is that of emotional manipulation. And the emotional manipulation in the beginning of the relationship can be by virtue of being a family of origin, or can be a partner, a spouse, even a coworker or a fiance, someone who you have engaged with. And in the beginning of the relationship, we denote this as love bombing, where there is such a feeling of euphoria, of bliss, of being in love with this person, of being enamored, of being infatuated. And in the case of the psychopath, just there's an ultimate fascination with this individual. Just there's something about this, the charm of this individual that just seems to be spellbinding. It tends to make you stop in your tracks, almost like a deer in headlights, where you're just really profoundly charmed by this individual. Oftentimes it's because they have such an unflinching nature. They don't seem to get upset. There's something captivating about them. They don't seem to ever be afraid, ever. And most things that would be upsetting to people, they don't ever get upset about. And so there's this very chill about them. But oftentimes that can be part of the love bombing phase and part of the emotional manipulation phase in a psychopathic or a narcissistic relationship. And I want to delve a little bit more in depth about how this occurs, so you can understand and increase and raise your awareness of this, so you can see then how this gets set up and how it becomes then, it chips away at your self-esteem and then becomes really part of your identity or part of your mindset and keeps you blocked, keeps you stuck, keeps you obsessing about this individual, where they continue habitually to be in the focus of your mind rather than your life being at the focus of your mind, your life being your driving force, and being, as an integrity individual versus, I'm needing of this person. This other person is like my better half, and I can't go on without this person. And oftentimes that ramification, that aftermath, is the result of being in a relationship with a emotional abuser. And now when you have, basically set up your self-esteem to be tied to this individual, your self-worth is tied to this individual. I'll say that again. If your self-esteem is tied to this individual, or your self-worth is tied to this individual, then chances are you are in a emotionally manipulative relationship, because emotional manipulators will be the ones in control of your self-esteem or lack of self-esteem, and not in the supportive nature, because of course all relationships have an interdependence when they're healthy. And, you create kind of like a mastermind, like we're doing here with this channel. The give and take, the exploration, the discovery, the mutual support that occurs between people. Napoleon Hill always talked about this, the mastermind, the genesis of the mastermind, to people's strengths and solutions coming together to create a more perfect solution. It's, the quantum field, where the sum is greater than the whole of the parts, and you begin to move, big things moving positively. That is a mastermind alliance, and that is really the ultimate, and that is the ideal, that is the focus, really, of getting into that level, which is the positive, which is what I encourage you all watching this to establish a mastermind, alliance with 2 or 3 other people on this channel, where you can go back and forth and support each other and provide solutions and reinforcement and accountability with each other, so you can, move forward and not feel so alone in your journey, but you've got kind of a team moving forward for you. Excuse me. So we're discussing more here the emotional manipulators and how they tend to create your lack of self-esteem, how their negative influence, how their emotional manipulation tends to take over a low self-esteem, a sense of low self-worth, or it tends to reinforce perhaps a low self-esteem which was already there, perhaps from a shame-based parent or narcissistic parenting, abusive parenting, alcoholic parenting, parenting under the influence of drugs, etc. So perhaps maybe you have this already, like a little bit of a fissure in your self-esteem, like you just have a little bit of this already as a weakness, and they just blew it out. I mean, they made the low self-esteem become really pervasive in your life if they have been, or you've had a pattern of these experiences in your life. And so, if you're in a relationship with a emotional manipulator, they're systematically chip away at your low self-esteem. They're continue to, berate you, keep you down, making you just solidify that you are less than. They have a tendency to continually reinforce that. So then what ends up happening then is that with individuals then, they tend to then surround themselves with other individuals who are in that same alignment with, who are seeking, to be violated and perpetrated with the same set of negative validation. So in other words, this negative self-esteem, which is then placed in the mind, body, and spirit of this individual, they tend to gravitate to other organizations, situations, and relationships that tend to keep them violated, keep the perpetrators in their life, keep those people who are highly critical, highly judging, toxic environments. They tend to be drawn to those and continue to feel like, well, this is me. I'm constantly underneath the thumb of this organization, or constantly under the thumb of this scrutiny, or I'm constantly under the thumb of these manipulators and these bullies and these people who push me around, and I feel like I'm just, I don't have my own footing about me. So that is, part of how this then becomes chronic, or it becomes pervasive, and then part of somebody's identity is where they just then tend to gravitate towards other situations, relationships, where they tend to solidify this low a sense of self-esteem. So it's important to become aware of it and then break free from this sort of emotionally manipulative environment and really be on your own a little bit. I think it's very important in the recovery is to reclaim your own voice. So work on things like the recovery journal. Do your brain drain. Do your 3 pages of stream of consciousness writing, where you're just allowing yourself to pour forth all that you're going through, so you can get it out of the page, so it will no longer continue to contaminate you or weigh you down. Like all the built up anger, frustration, aggression, hostility, disappointment, the feeling like I'm stuck. You need to write that down and get it out. And then furthermore, focus on the things that you want. Furthermore, focus on the things that you want to become, and how you want to feel, and what you want to have, and how you want to be, and get really drawn into this vision of your life versus being programmed by an emotional manipulator. It's having these different oftentimes conflicting pulls in your life. I mean, it's hard to simultaneously be in the hands of a narcissistic abuser and leading your life purpose and leading your destiny. I mean, it's like a tug of war. You need to be able to commit to following your dream, following your vision. I had a notebook here. It's like, have the courage to dream, have the courage to find your own vision. And I'll find that here in a minute. I think it's very important for you to get these principles and get these principles leading and guiding your life. Because if you've been guided by an emotional abuser, chances are your life is going in the wrong direction. You're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you're not living, you feel like something is wrong, you have to constantly fix something, you're not living your life purpose. You need to identify that, and sometimes, you need to let some of these people go. You just need to get them out of your life. You need to commit to that. You need to go no contact. You need to say enough is enough. no more is no more, I'm now focusing on myself, my life, my own ideals, my own values, and I'm furthermore protecting myself from this abuse because it'll eventually start to degrade you. It's too much pressure. It becomes too toxic, too filled with the negative that you can't function. It becomes very stifling. So you need to have that courage to dream. You need to work on that journal and then continue to ask yourself those questions so you can elicit and open up that inner voice. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.